Wattpad is one of the largest English speaking web novel sites around. I have in a previous video of mine, which was titled What is Wattpad, which you can check out in my playlist of the What Is series as the YouTube of web novels. And if you even have a passing knowledge of the site, you might have heard of a little old term known as the Wattys. But before I continue, guys, if you like the video, remember to leave a like and to subscribe if you would like to see more content like this. And also, I would very much appreciate your subscription. I am a small channel, and your support really helps me fight the evils of the algorithm. Web novel content on this site is very small, and it's very hard to build a channel based around it. And web novels are my passion. I am a web novelist as well. In fact, the link to my book, Phantom Driak, which is an action high fantasy, is also linked in the description below. But other than that, I would very much appreciate your support in the channel. You can just subscribe. It's just clicking a button. And also, if you like the video, you can share it with friends. And you can get back to me on my Discord, which I've also linked to in the description below. And we can talk about web novel content. We can talk about your books, my books. We can talk about the videos, what you'd like to see me make in future. We can basically just build a community about web novels. And I know there are other communities on Discord. And yeah, I'm very interested in. I very much appreciate your support if you're interested. So I still appreciate you seeing the video, and I'm sorry that I spent the beginning of this video meandering. So yeah, let's just get on with the rest of it. Enough begging. So with over 70 million users, Wattpad has realized that it too has to get into the act of having an obligatory competition, and that is how we have the Wattys. So you're probably asking yourself, Red Chaos 1, you Adonis, you omnipotent god, what are the Wattys? Well, the Wattys are an annual writing contest launched in 2009, offering writers some very, very desirable prizes. The participants are invited to submit completed novels to win those huge prizes. Now, here's one thing to remember about the Wattys. Your story has to be completed. So if your story is basically the normal web novels that have continued serialization, I don't think you're gonna win it. And if you're wondering, why does the story have to be completed? Well, that's because some of the prizes include stuff like publishing your book and giving it an adaptation. So Wattpad probably wants your book to be over so that they can just adapt it. I don't think they want to run into the Game of Thrones problem where they adapt it, and by the time the story or the production catches up to the book, you, the writer, haven't yet finished it. Not that I'm accusing you of being George R.R. Martin's, but yeah, that could happen. But to better explain the prizes of winning the Wattys include getting the page story deal. Now you're probably wondering, Brett, what the hell is a page story deal? So if you've ever been on Wattpad, you've noticed those books that you can't read unless you pay a coin. The new coin system that Wattpad introduced. That's the page story deal. The author gets paid money when you put in the coin and you read the book. It's basically what happens on stuff like web novel and probably webtoon. I'm not sure about webtoon, but I know on web novel the reads and the paying of the coin will get some authors who are into contracts paid. So that's one of the prizes. Another prize is the publishing of your book. So they're going to publish a physical copies of your book in order to sell it. They're going to act as your publishers. So this is probably the deal that would make a lot of people really, really interested in winning or joining the competition. But the top one is your book gets an adaptation. It'll be a shitty movie adaptation, but yeah, they have a web novel, mentioned web novel. Why am I mentioning web novel? They have a Wattpad webtoon studio because they were bought out by the owners of Webtoon, and They are partnered with Sony, Hulu, and Sci-Fi, and so this is where you'll get your story adapted. They also will provide you with a social media kit to promote your story worldwide, but they won't just leave that to you because they're sinking a lot into you because of this. Because you're getting paid for people reading your book, they're publishing it, and they're also adapting it. So Wattpad also will take a hand in promoting your book, not just on Wattpad itself, but on other sites. They'll promote it worldwide. So this is a big win. Examples of winners from this are Beth Raquels, I hope that's the name, who wrote The Kissing Booth. Yes, that Kissing Booth that YouTube has murdered and that I should probably watch and do a review of after I read the books so that I can do a comparison to know if it's really that bad. But I'm not sure. Maybe if you want me to do that, you can tell me. But yeah, what the advantages of winning the Wattys are so advantageous for an author. You're getting paid on Wattpad for people reading your book there. Your book is getting published, it's getting adapted, and it's getting promoted by the company. So yeah, very helpful. Now, the awards themselves are announced online each year by Wattpad to help authors progress their careers. The announcements include any entry requirements and rules and the available prizes and submission deadlines. So the rules and the categories shift from year to year because I was looking at websites that were talking about the Wattys and I noticed that they each for different years had different requirements and different rules. So maybe the rules that I mentioned now might not be set in stone next year, but considering how many of the rules are consistent, they're the ones that I chose here. Now, for example, in the year of our Lord 2021 AD, the Wattys were opened on July 7th and closed on September 30th. So they'll give you the deadline and when the books are allowed to be submitted online. So just this year, this is how it happened. So you missed out if you didn't do it. Now the Wattys are extremely popular, but you saw the prizes that I mentioned earlier: the getting paid, the getting adapted, the getting published, the getting promoted worldwide by the company. Yours They're very popular with people, and everyone is trying to get a chance at making it with the Wattys. And to show you how popular they are, in 2018, over 300,000 people submitted their works for for Wattpad. That's a lot of people just trying to get through this small window of opportunity. Now, to enter the Wattys, you must submit your entry through Wattpad, which means you must most certainly be a Wattpad user. Also, there are a number of entry requirements and rules that you must first meet as well. So the first one is that your story must be yours, so no plagiarism. Because I don't think Wattpad wants the publicity nightmare of one of their top books being revealed to have been stolen, and just how badly that could damage their image. And also their deals with companies like Sony, Hulu, and Sci-Fi, though I'm not sure about Sci-Fi because I'm not a Westerner, but every time I hear people talk about Sci-Fi, it's usually in a bad way, so maybe, I'm not sure, man. But yeah, that would really tarnish their image, ruin a lot of their deals, so they probably don't want that. Another thing is that your story must, if it's written in English, it must have 50,000 words in it. Or more, 50,000 or more. That's the benchmark. And if you aren't interested in using English because it's an overrated language, then don't worry. You can get less work and simply do 40,000 words. So your story isn't going to be a little short thing. It has to be long enough. And you must also adhere to the Wattpad guidelines. So those people who write smut, I'm sorry, you might not make it in this competition. The Wattys have multiple categories for you to win in. which aren't just billionaire abs, werewolf kissing, and One Direction kidnapping. These categories include romance, which is the place with the heaviest competition if you ask me, fantasy, because yes, there are some good fantasy stories on Wattpad, science fiction, poetry, mystery and thriller, horror and the paranormal, historical fiction, though does Harry Styles' Kidnap Me count in historical fiction? I don't know. Maybe you can tell me your thoughts in the comments. Young adult, fan fiction, new adult, non-fiction, chick lit, which I have no damn clue what that is, and also the best cover. So they have covered all their bases. From these categories, you will have 5 winners in each one, meaning that you will have roughly 66 winners if my math is right. And that seems like a lot, but considering these are the people picked out of something like 40 to 300,000, yeah, it's small and the competition is tough. But what does it actually take to beat hundreds of thousands of authors in order to grasp that brass ring and to pull yourself to victory? Let's take a look at that. So while we're doing that, let's start by dispelling a certain myth. Stories aren't chosen primarily on their popularity. There have been some past authors who have had less reads than their competition and they have managed to win. But I'm not claiming that popularity doesn't play a part. I'm very sure that having a very popular story will play a part in you winning. But I don't think it plays as much a part as people think. Now, before 2017, the method of choosing winners was through data science. But they stopped that and apparently we have human judges now, but I don't buy it. But hey, what do I know? I'm just some guy on YouTube. Your book's chance of winning are helped greatly by having a book which Wattpad will see as marketable in future for their publishing and adaptation deals. How well the quality of the writing is also helps you, meaning that you have to go back to your story and polish it or else you might not make it. Because while Wattpad will have editors helping you, I don't think they're interested in carrying you all the way to the finish line. And you're going to be published, you have to be a competent author. If you leave them and you're still writing badly because they allowed you to get in with horrible writing, they end up looking bad. So your story has to, pass some level of competence. So you have to be good at writing, you have to polish and edit it, which really shows them how good you are, and I'm sure that plays a part in them taking you. Another thing is, that's it. So marketability and being well written, that is what carries you to victory. And you might probably be wondering, Red, if the Wattys, why not just do a romance story because that's the most marketable on Wattpad? Everyone is doing romance stories, so those have the highest competition. If I was honestly trying to win the Wattys, I'll probably go for another category, probably one that doesn't have a lot of competition in it. But I'm sure there are a lot of people who are trying to do that because just if you manage to make it big with Wattpad, if you just manage to win this competition, make it big, it would be very helpful to your career. So yeah, that is everything you need to know about the Wattys. If you enjoyed this, then you can leave little old me a like and subscribe to see more content like this in future. You can also check out my web novel, Phantom Drig, which, as I mentioned before, is linked in the description below. And you can also check out my Discord. And we can talk about this video, what you thought about it, and any future videos I could be doing. This has been Red Chaos 1, signing off.